Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's another fabulous Friday. We are with, oh my goodness, we are with Take Five, and it is Friday Friends. And so I am streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Take Five is a Facebook group. So if you want to see what that's all about, that's a great group. You can go over to Facebook and check that out. But I do live stream my events on both platforms, and there's a number of people who have started doing that. So that's always kind of nice to be able to get a chance to stream in both places. And I'm just going to take 1 second here and get my feed up so I can see all of our comments today. Let's see here. All right. And one more thing here. I'm going to put a link to sign up to my newsletter, because that's where you're going to be able to get the printables. Okay. So I think I'm just about there. Sorry, I tell you what, I wish that there was something that we could do like this. And you can stream things to more than one place at the same time. But the problem with that is the fact that if somebody is in one group and you've streamed it over there, they might think they're the only person, because nobody else is commenting in the group. So they can't see all of the comments. Hey, Jeannie. Hey, Sue. There's Susan. Okay. Alrighty. So we are good to go. So this is, I love these little spring, kind of a spring theme, and all the flowers, the little garden sheds. And I've got this page here that's got little garden tools and flowers and watering cans and some fun things like that. Now, I printed these. These are just on 8.5 by 11, regular size sheets of printer paper. It is a 28. Oh, no. That's not what this is. These are cardstock. And this is my Nina Solar White. It's not real solar white in my opinion, though. It's kind of an off-white color. My regular printer paper is more white than this, but it works great. And it's just the perfect weight. And when I found out that I use this for using alcohol markers on. You want really good paper if you're going to use alcohol markers. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Nora. And so this is perfect because they don't soak all the way through, so you're not using all of your alcohol markers aren't going all through, bleed through, so to speak. So you want to be able to use them and not just, waste them. And so you have to have, that's part of having a good quality paper for alcohol markers. So, all right. These, and I've got this little bit of a white border around the edge, and we're going to trim that off. And I don't know. I thought my printer would print borderless, and I still think it does. I think I just didn't get my settings right. Okay, and so now I'm just going to trim off the white sections here. And a lot of times I find it more helpful to not start at the edge of the paper, because it just kind of hangs up. So I kind of start it more inside the edge here. Does that make sense? And we're going to make a little folio, you guys. That's what we're going to work on today. And some other things. Thanks for sprinkling me out, Jeannie. Appreciate it. And like I said, we're in the Take 5 group today. If you haven't checked that out, be sure and do so. It doesn't cost anything to join. Don't you love things like that? Now, I have printed on both sides of this paper. And one side I have put a little bit of looks kind of like a newspaper collage type thing. I like that. I might trim this off. Oh, no, it's not going to matter because that's going to be covered up. Okay, now I have to decide. I think I'm going to use this paper to make my pockets inside, okay? So let's go ahead and trim the borders off of it as well. Oh, you guys have any big plans for the weekend? I don't really have anything super duper important or any big plans more than normal. I've just been trying to hang out and be at home. I did go last night. I met my granddaughter and great-grandson down at his school. They were having their special night where they invited their families to come and see all the things that they've been working on. It's always cute to see kids, you know, all happy and showing you what they've been making. So, and he was telling us he'd been working really hard. So, oh my goodness, they're so cute. All right, so now I'm going to, I got to think about this for a second. Okay, I've got one thing scores going this way, and I've got another one that scores this way. So I always have to give it a second thought and think of what I'm doing so I don't get it all messed up. All right, so I want to score at 3 5/8. Where's my scoring thing? Oh shoot, I thought I just stuck it right here in this little bucket of doodads. There it is. Okay, so 3 5/8 right here, and I may flip it over and do the other side too, just so I get a nice score. So 3 5/8 and 7 1/4. And I'm just going to flip it this way so I can use those same measurements. So 3 5/8, 7 1/4. Okay. Whoops, man, that went way that went way out of its track. Oh my goodness. And then we're just going to fold like this. And that's going to give us a little tri-fold folio. Just like that. Okay, and I think I will just round its corners a tiny bit. Oh, I should have just gone ahead and waited till I got my pocket on there, because I am going to put a pocket right there. I can't get those. I don't know what's the deal. There we go. It still don't look great. Okay. So now we've got those, and now I'm going to cut a strip to make a long little pocket right here. And I'm going to make it 1.5 inches. So I already know that, you know, it should be the same height. So I'm going to cut 1.5 inches. That's going to be a little tiny pocket along the side. And so it's going to go right here like this. And I kind of like that together, actually, because the background colors, I mean, it's just enough difference, and we're going to make some other cards to go in here too, so that's going to work just fine. And now I've got some pockets that I want to be 3.5 inches wide. So I'm just going to cut those. So I want one 3.5, and then I think, and then I'm going to cut 3 of them at 2 inches. So we're just going to get all of our cutting done right here. So 2 inches, 3 different times. And then we've got this little piece and this piece. Why does that look crooked? That looks really crooked. I think it is. Let me kind of try and line it up a little bit better. I can feel it wiggle as I, just a tiny bit, I think. I don't think it was all that big. Okay, and now this one I'm going to make 1.5 inches. And it's just going to be kind of a little belly band. Actually, I'm going to flip it around so I get more of the little picture. Or pictures, I should say. Okay. So little watering cans and little cutting implements for the garden. Okay, so now I need to make some little finger notches here. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. So I just need it in one side. And I got, since now this is going, it's directional now at this point. And so I need to make sure that I have it going the right way so that I make my little thumb punch on the right side of my paper. I can't find my good 1-inch punch. That's, well, right now anyway, I will say. Okay. Okay. Now that's not too bad. That's kind of in the middle. Not too bad for just eyeballing it. Yeah, so what are you guys doing this weekend? Oh, thank you, Linda. Hey, Sandra, Monica, Linda. Oh, you're going to get rain. We've been having rain the last couple of days. It finally cleared up. I thought it looked like it might rain again today, but looks like it's cleaned up. And oh my gosh, was it ever raining last night? I almost was afraid to leave and go down to the school thing, but my granddaughter told me that it was not raining so hard down by them. Oops, got to turn it the right direction. And she was right. Once I got farther from my house, it was not raining nearly as heavy. Okay, so let's put a little bit of ink on these. Where is my ink? There it is. Okay. And when you put a little ink on the edges, it just kind of helps define the edges, especially when you make these little finger holes. Actually, I'm just going to go around the whole thing, I think. I think that'll just bring it out a little bit more. Okay, this one we didn't punch a finger hole in because it's going to be like a little belly. Oh, shoot. I did not. Oh, yeah, I did measure already. I was going to say I didn't do the right direction for I didn't measure across for my little pockets, but I did. I did it anyway. All right. Now this, I need to go ahead and trim these 2 corners so they'll match the outside. How many of you like to garden? My daughter's getting ready to leave. They're going to have spring break, and so they're going to head back up to Minnesota and visit everybody. And she was talking about she had something come up in her phone, and it was showing stuff that was already, you know, coming up, just little seed things that were coming up in the garden. She goes, well, I guess I'm way behind. I'm like, yeah, funny how that happens when you have a job and you're working, right? So I don't know what she's gonna do about her garden this year. I guess that will remain to be seen. There's our vintage country crafting. Hello. Okay, and one more. So we'll just make our little folio. And then we're going to make some little cards to go in it. Okay. So now let's go ahead and glue it all together. Oh, let's go ahead and, you know what? Let's put a little bit of ink on the edges of the folio itself. Give it a little bit more interest. Alright, how many of you like to distress and use ink? Are you inkers or not? This will kind of help. I've got a little bit of white showing down here. I don't know what happened. Maybe I just didn't get all my line cut off. Who knows? But adding a little ink is a good way to, you know, kind of fix that. I'm just going to ink it all up, and then I'll turn it over and do the inside too. And this is one of my favorite colors. It just goes with so many things. It's the vintage photo color. And you can rub it back and forth. You can, you know, kind of swipe the edges like this. There's lots of ways you can put your distressing ink colors on. And let's do this side. See, I really, now, this side I really don't even have to do. Actually, let's wait till we glue our things on. Then we can see better what still needs some inking. Okay. So these are all the same width, right? And what you want to do is make sure that they're going to fit in between your score marks. So here's, let me bend it up here so you can see. Okay, so we want to make sure that it goes in there and it'll still fold really nice. And yeah, and here's another corner. This corner needs trimmed. There we go. Okay, so I have a couple here I'm going to layer on this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little bit of glue just right here on these edges right here. And then I'm going to stick it on here like this. Okay. And that way that is stuck good like that. Okay. And now we'll put it around the other three edges. Oh, I like to call this a dry fit. Let me make sure that's on the inside. Yeah, we got plenty of room for it to fold. If you don't give it that final little fit, you don't want it to be going past those score lines, and then when you fold it, it's not going to fold. You'll have a non-folding folio. Oh, Linda, I do too. I have so many colors too, and it's for some reason, I don't know, I just keep using the same one. There. Okay, so we've got that. And you could just put a tuck spot there if you want, but that was what I did there. And this one I'm going to put another one right here. So I made it so that it matches across the edge there. You can make them however deep that you want. You'll see though why I left this one kind of short though. Hang on just a second. We'll get this lined up. Put that down. Now this one is going to be more like a little belly band, and we'll just put this one up in here. So we only want our glue on two sides on the outside edges here, and that's it. And we'll just put that in. Okay. And then we've got the one over here to the side. See, this is why I was telling you it wasn't going to matter this little edge showing. Okay, and so 3 sides along here. Let's just hold it on this side where our little finger notch is anyway. That's a good way to help us remember which side not to glue. Oh man, I'm getting kind of not having a very good glue moment. I'm getting it out there farther than I want, but it'll be fine. And then we're just going to put it down here. It's a little bit off. It's okay. I'm just going to kind of center that. Okay, now we can put our, let's go ahead and ink this. Linda, do you find you have a, and then we'll put this, and then we'll get a little more ink on there, and it'll kind of darken it, and it won't look so obvious that we cut it too short. Well, you didn't, I did. I cut it too short. Okay. Linda, do you have like any colors you seem to use more often of your ink colors? Okay. And just that last little bit here. Okay, so this goes all the way across. All right, so now we've got the inside. So here's our little folio, just like this. Okay, now let's cut up one of these other prints to use for kind of our little cards. Hey Janice, how are you? What kind of things you're gonna plant, Jeannie? Okay. Okay, so since this one, let's use this different print for our cards. So I'm gonna trim off my edges again. And now this is going to be similar to when I talked to you about using a kind of these scenic prints. I guess that's the best way for me to describe these prints that are like a one scene, or, you know, kind of mostly, and then it's like, well, what are you going to do with them? Well, when you cut them all up, a lot of times you can't even tell that. I mean, it's just so funny because you get little bits and pieces that are interesting, and you can break it all up. You don't have to leave it just like this, because, you know, you're thinking like, what am I going to do with a piece that only has like one picture on it if I'm not going to put the whole thing down on something else? So now we need to make some little cards that are going to fit in these pockets. And I think to be safe and hopefully tuck in where the glue is not, I think I'll do them at 3 inches. So let's do like 3 by 4. So let's cut this at 3 inches. Where does that put us here? So we'll have, this will be, okay, let's Let's just cut it off. And 3 by 4. Are we going to be able to get 2 of them out of here? Let's see. So it's actually about 8 1/4. So let's take our 4 inches off of this end first and leave the other one a little bit longer. Well, no. That's not going to give us much for this one. Let's do a shorter one. Let's leave more of our picture there. And it doesn't really matter how. There. So we got more of our little thing. So I like that one. So let's see if it's going to fit in here. Oh, it's kind of snug. There we go. Yeah, it'll fit in there. So you might be thinking, oh man, that's busier than I like. And it might be. You don't have to, you can keep it plain. You can do something more simple. Another thing that I could have done would have been to have kind of toned down the opacity on here. If you're having trouble getting these in, just stick something kind of flat in here and just kind of help it open up a little bit. That's still awfully tight for that one. There we go. Okay. Just want to do that to all these pockets. Now this one goes all the way down in there. I did not glue it separate across the bottom. This one I about pulled it up too much. There we go. And what about this one? And you just want to be gentle. I mean, you don't want to rip it off. You just want to kind of make sure you've got some give right there. And I think if I go ahead and clip the corners, that might help, ease them in there too. I don't have these sharp corners to go in. And so I've got these, and these could be journal cards. And you could still, do whatever you wanted to on the backs of these, or the fronts, the backs, whatever you want to do. Stick it in there however you want to. Yeah, it goes in a lot easier with rounded corners. Okay, so now we can put some more. I might do that at just a touch less than 3. And then, what are we going to do with this one? This is kind of large. 4 3/4. So 2 1/2. 2. Well, I don't know. We can just kind of eyeball it and do that one in half. Make them kind of skinny. They don't all have to be the same. You might feel like they do, but they don't. You don't have to do them all the same. And if I put it at 4 1/8, which is halfway, let's see how that looks. Oh, that's kind of cute. Kind of like that. Then they're all a real similar size, except these skinny ones. Okay. So let's just go ahead and snip, snip, snip. Oh, Jeannie says she is going to do tomatoes, watermelon, squash, zucchini. Vintage photo. I love the blues and pinks. Yeah. There's also one that's kind of a smoky color of that ink, and I use that a lot too. Oh, Debbie, were you talking about gardening, that it's been hard since you had back surgery? But you still try to. Well, if that's something you like to do, yeah, that's probably a good thing to get outdoors and do that. I don't know about you guys, but I just really enjoy playing with pretty paper. Hi, Grace. So there we go. So now, I'm even going to ink these a little bit. I didn't ink these. Let me pull these out and add them to the inking pile. Yes, gardening. Okay. Do you like to do vegetables and flowers, or one or the other? You know, when we lived in Denver, I always loved my flowers. And anywhere else I ever was, not so much. They didn't have the same flowers. I didn't know what to do with them. When we lived in Minnesota, I couldn't figure out how, when we moved there, why in the world people didn't have flowers. The only thing you ever saw people have were hostas and daylilies near where we lived. And I later found out, and my neighbor planted some roses and daylilies. Daylilies worked pretty good too. But I finally found out that, especially in our neighborhood where we lived, it was called the Preserve. There was a kind of a big lake not far from us. And I mean, it was very close. It was kind of across the road and just down. And there were deer. And what else lived over there? I don't know. You know, all kinds of wildlife. Well, the deer would come up in your yards and eat whatever flowers you had. They even ate my neighbor's roses. And I'm like, man, that must have been kind of painful. I mean, they were just full of thorns. I guess they were careful. But yeah, I found that out. And then I'd planted all kinds of bulbs. And, you know, all kinds of spring bulbs. I only had one that ever came up, and it wasn't anywhere near where I planted it. Because they would get dug up. And I don't know what was it. There were, you know, sometimes rabbits. But all of the bulbs had been dug up, probably from, you know, squirrels, rabbits, who knows what. And the only tulip bulb I ever had was up close to my house, and there were rocks up around the house. And this one lonely red tulip would come up every year. And I would just think, that was the dumbest looking thing. One tulip. But I always loved my flowers in Denver. And here it's just, you know, hotter than Hades. I don't know. You can have some flowers in the spring and they're pretty, but I haven't figured out anything that works past that. And we'll have new people that'll move across the street. We've got a couple houses across the street that have changed people since we've been here. And those people, it'll be like young people move in, and they will spend all of this time doing all this stuff, making this pretty flower bed and stuff, or window boxes. And those houses, the fronts of those houses face west. They don't have any big trees in their yard for any shade. Oh my God. And I just think those poor people, they have no idea. And pretty soon, those yards will just have nothing but they'll just have these hot, dried up flowers. It's so sad because those people spent so much time, you know, trying to make their yards pretty. So we've got all of these little places we can tuck in here. We can tuck some more over here. And then we can use these for, you know, just some little journaling cards. So by the time you get all your stuff tucked in here, look at this. Oh, I kind of like having these narrow ones. That was kind of cool. You can kind of tip them a little more. But look, by the time you get these all in here, then you, you know, you don't have so much of this background. I kind of wish I would have, you know, toned down the opacity of that a little bit, but I don't mind it. I like it though. I like some text back there, and I wanted it to be something a little bit different from the, from my little planting implements and little potted plants. What do you think of that? And then, let's see, what can we do? I want to just use, let's just use a little bit of jute to close our little thing up here. We just need enough that we can tie it. Goodness, I feel like I'm all thumbs all of a sudden. There we go. I like to kind of wrap it around a couple times. And let's just trim that off. And you could, you know, stick a charm or something on here. That would be cute. I don't think I have any of my charms out here. They were out here the other day for something I was using. Oh, I was making one of those little dangles. But, you know, just tie it on there. And if you want to make sure that your string doesn't get lost, if you're going to do something like this, I kind of like that because it looks all natural. I like it. One of the things that you can do is take one of these edges over here and just put a dab of glue on it. Just a tiny bit. Just so it'll stay. And, well, actually, let's see here. Yep. You want to make sure you've got one of the ends that is tied to where your bow is so that it'll be easier to take off and on. So just a tiny, can you see that? Just a tiny, tiny bit. Just a tiny drop of glue. And I'm just going to move this over into it, into its little glue puddle. I can't. There we go. There. And I'm just going to hold that there a second. Actually, let's just clip it. And let's do something else. There. We'll just clip that there. Okay. You got, let's make, I love this these papers. Let's make, I'm going to make a bookmark. Actually a page hugger. So let's trim these off again. And this is just plain on the back. That one is just plain. But I have a link there pinned for my newsletter, and I've been sending out some printables, and it might, you know, it might not be printables each time, or not, you know, not, they'll vary, but some kind of a little digital gift each week. And it comes out on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening anyway. And then I let you know what's going on for the week and kind of a summary of the past week in case you missed anything and want to go back. You know, it's so hard to find. Now, it's not so hard like on my YouTube channel, but if you're looking on Facebook, sometimes people really have a hard time finding what they're looking for videos and things. So, okay, let me see. How wide should we make a bookmark? And I think I want to, I think I'm going to do a fairly wide one. Well, actually a couple of inches. A couple inches I think will be fine. So let's just do 2 inches. I'm going to cut it. Let me move my junk out of the way there. So 2 inches. And now, what's this side going to look like? Because we'll be able to flip it. We'll be able to see it both sides. Oh, that's kind of cute because then you can see the door. I kind of wish I'd done it 2.5 inches. But that'll work. So 2 inches. Oh, thanks, Sue. Oh, wouldn't that be great? Oh, hi, Melanie. Wouldn't that be great, you guys? Yes, Jeannie, I wish I knew what kind of plants were perfect for here. And if I spent time researching it, I'm sure I could figure it out. Let's see how long we want these, you guys. That's too long. I'm thinking about 6.5 inches maybe. You don't want it longer than, you know what, maybe your books are. I don't even know how, wonder how tall most paperback books are. I don't even know. Can't think about it. Okay, so if we're going to do 6.5, let's figure out where we're going to have a nice look. Well, I kind of want my flowers. I'm just going to trim this here and then come back and do this edge. Just cut a little bit of this green off at the top. There we go. Let's see. Just going to cut a tiny bit off the bottom. That way I still have most of my flowers. And then we'll do the 6.5 this way. Okay. All right. And let's go ahead and trim these corners off. Give them a little ink. If I can pick them up, right? You guys, every time, I never clean out this thing and it gets so full and then it doesn't cut very good. Every time, it'll be so far in between. Sometimes I'll like take it upside down and I'll just shake it and a bunch will come out. So it'll still keep cutting nicely. And every time I actually need to open it, I'm like, well, I don't know which part of that opens. And I'll mess around and mess around. And then finally I'll just have to Google it up. I'm just like, I don't know where. It's like, how could that be that hard? You just don't know. I tell you what, though, I sure do like it. I really like, you know, some of the memory keepers, we are, and that's what this is, too. We Are Memory Keepers is this brand, and they really make all kinds of stuff. And it seems like every year they come out with more stuff. And sometimes I look at it and think, nah, that's not for me. Some of it's a little, to me, it's a little over the top. It's just like, no, I don't need that. I don't either. And I know, and so many other people will say that too. It's kind of, no, I don't want that. But, you know, if you got a business like that, you got to keep dreaming up something you think people are going to want, right? Now, this, this Distress Oxide ink takes a little bit longer to dry because it's part dye-based ink and part pigment ink. And pigment ink is what is a little bit juicier. It takes a little bit more time to dry, because if you're going to do any embossing, a full pigment ink is what you want to use, so it's got some open time for you to still be able to put your embossing powders on and let them stick. Oh, that would be fun. You guys, you could really doll this up a lot. With some some Nuvo drops and all kinds of fun stuff. Maybe we'll do that. We're not going to be quite done here, so maybe we'll be able to have time to do that. Now then, what you do is you take these two together and you get a hole punched. You know what? I'm gonna clip these so they'll stay. Can't get those straight. Or get them to line up. Got one sticking out. Got the one side sticking out on one. There we go. There we go. Okay, now let's put a hole in here. So let's put it at, did I get them both the right direction? Yeah. So I'm going to put a hole up here at the top. I'm going to try a small, I'm going to use just a small eyelet. And I think that's what I've already got it set to for the eyelet setter. Well, these are all I see of this small size. These look dangerous. Maybe I'll use one of these green ones. So you just pop it in there. Maybe. Oh, this was lucky. The little rim of my trimmer tool here caught it. Oh my goodness, that is tiny. Okay. I'm gonna have to have some help. There. Okay, now just gonna clamp it on there. Broke it. Those aren't very. Who made those? Company. It kind of broke it a little bit, but not too bad. Okay, so now let me see what I've got for a little bit of ribbon or something. I'm just going to put this through. Wonder if I could get, if I double it so I can make a little loop. Let's try to get through there. Yes, the best tool for you is your crocodile and paper square. Yeah, I tell you what, crocodiles are, they are just fabulous, aren't they? They really were a wonderful thing. What would we do without them? I don't need it real big. I think that's going to be plenty long. And we'll just trim that. And it's not trimming. Those obviously have been used for a million things. Let's try these. There. Oh, that's much nicer. Okay. Just pull it through. Now sometimes these ribbons, like I think this is organza, and it is just really slippery, and so sometimes what I do is I will just put a tiny bit of glue right under these loops and just let it kind of stick, you know, make sure it's got something to stick it down so it doesn't just come loose. I've had them they'll just want to slide right out. So I'm just gonna clip that down, and then when that dries they'll stay. And I do want to put a little bit of glue. Some of these things you can heat them. You can use a lighter and just, you know, just kind of singe it a tiny bit. But most of the time I don't have one around anywhere. And I just use this tiny bit of glue just on my finger and just kind of dot that in there because it's going to dry clear anyway. And then it'll keep it from fraying. Okay, let's move these out. So this part should be all fine and dandy and stuck on there. So now when we untie this, then we've got this, and it's not going to get lost. It's just going to be stuck there, so we won't have to worry about what happened to it. Okay, so let's put some little fun things on here. Let me grab my some of my goodies here, and you can use anything. You can use stickles or some of these Nouveau. These happen to be the Dream Drops. This one, if you're looking for the one that's going to be clear, it's the Nouveau Crystal Drops, and the one that dries clear is Morning Dew. It's called Morning Dew, and so that one will dry clear. So again, it's the Nouveau Crystal Drops. Okay, so if you want something, and you know what, you guys, if you have been used to using something like glossy accents, they've had a number of different things over the years, but I tell you what, I think this stuff dries so much faster than those. So we'll just kind of tap this on for some of our little flowers and give it a little bit of dimension. Just kind of tap, tap, tap. And if you just kind of dot it on, then you've just got little bitty cute things for your dimension. And geraniums, it's kind of how they are anyway, if you're looking at them from afar, right? You can't really see all the little single petals. So these are just kind of fun. Let's see what else. I've got one that's kind of a purpley color. Let's use this one. This one is called, I love these because they're iridescent. This one is called Indigo Eclipse. Let me keep the lids on with the ones that they came off of. So you can kind of just do the same thing. Just kind of tap, tap, tap. And just get just a little bit of dimension and interest. You don't have to do all of them. That's pretty. And then this one is called Fairy Wings. We'll use a little bit of that on this lighter colored one. I don't really have one that's a good blue. Not in my Nuvo. Maybe we'll have that color showing behind anyway. So even though it's not the exact same color, your color from your paper, from your printed thing is going to show anyway. Look at that. Look how fun. So just like that, you've added, you know, something kind of fun. And if you wanted to, you could use the clear and use it along the windows and kind of make them look like, you know, like glass. That would be fun. Let's do that real quick. I'm going to open this. So you don't have to use a lot, and just kind of, you know, spread it out a little bit. Try to kind of keep your little rectangle shape. But as it dries, this one will dry all the way clear and it'll look like little window panes. Well, you know what I mean. Sort of. But we'll have a little bit of clear. And if you don't, and you don't have to put a whole bunch on. I'm just trying to get it in there. You don't want too much. It'll just take longer to dry and it'll kind of warp the paper if you get too much of it on there. But that's kind of cute. Look how much it brightens it up too. Can you see how much that it's brightened all of that up? I'm going to go ahead and put some in these window panes on the back. It's on the back, but I mean, you know, as it only, you know, use your dimensional things that are going to be wet. Make sure you're not folding your folio over on top of itself and messing it up. But yeah, I tell you what, I can't believe how much faster this stuff dries than like the old kind of glossy accents and things like that. So I really like that about it. You guys, who is after me? I don't even know. I went to look, when I went to look, I didn't see it yet. I was looking at an earlier thing. Hey, Jimmy Lou. Oh, thank you. So there we go. Hey, Deborah. Look at that. Okay, so it'll just kind of look like little, you know, glass panes in there. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Oh my goodness. I'm loving this, you guys. I love playing with the paper, and I love these things. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, she gets so excited about such crazy little things. But, and you can take, another thing you can do is just kind of swirl it. Or if you know, whatever kind of, you can just do a little bit of, drag it out so it's kind of like little lines. You know, you can just kind of follow the shape of your flowers. We'll just put some on the outsides here. But there's lots of ways, you know, to use it. So we tapped some of it. We've drawn. We've done squiggly things with it. You can do lots of stuff. Let's see. My green is not, I've got kind of a funny green here. I don't think that would look too great with some of the green. So I'm going to refrain from using the green. And, you know, you don't have to, once you start doing a little bit can go a long way. You don't feel like you have to just continue and do every flower or whatever. Let me see if I can hold it up here so you can see what we did up here. There we go. Look at that. See the dimension in it? And it's kind of got a little bit of sheen to it. So we did those. We did some of the geraniums up in the little pots. We got the our glass and our windows. So there you go. I hope you guys have enjoyed today. And like I said, be sure and get signed up for the newsletter. You never know what you might get in the newsletter. Yes, it is a printable, Linda. So there we go. And here were our little journal cards that we made out of one of the other little scenes. So you guys, thanks for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun. I've had fun anyway. I wish you guys could have played along with me. And maybe you did. Maybe some of you did play along. Hope so. And you can always go back and look at the dimensions and the pocket sizes for this. And you know, a lot of times we don't make things that are only out of like a printer size piece of paper. We're always chopping down like 12 by 12s or, you know, things like that. So I think it's fun to use something that is just, you know, what we've got on hand, the sizes that are easy, to get printed out, right? And when you can print it at home, there's all kinds of stuff you can do, right? And then we made our little page hugger here for, you know, just a cute little bookmark. And I think this will be fine. It's not super heavy. And, you know, I mean, it's enough to just stick over the top of a page and mark your place. So, there we have it. That's what we've done for today. Now I need to leave this alone so it doesn't get over in here until it's dry. You guys, thanks so much. And I don't know who is next. If you're over in the, in take 5, we'll see who's over there. I'm sorry I can't tell you. Oh my goodness, I feel bad. I feel bad. I don't know today. I'm still getting well, you guys. It's like, please give me some grace still. All the time, not just when I'm sick. You guys, take care. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.